For today's work, let me create two virtual machines, one a CentOS based or a Red Hat based machine, the other one is Ubuntu based machine. So let me quickly create both of them. So first I'm creating a Red Hat. Okay. So okay. So while this machine is under creation, let us go ahead and create one more Ubuntu instance. Right. And I think we know the drill. Basically, Ubuntu machine I will try to connect in PowerShell. Ubuntu machine I'll connect in Git Bash, and Red Hat machine I'll try to connect in PowerShell. Okay. So we have done this in the classroom earlier also. I'll do the same thing. Okay. So right. So while this machine is connecting, let us see. I think Ubuntu also should be up. Let me also connect the Ubuntu machine. Right. So I'll be working on two machines today. One would be Ubuntu, the other one would be Red Hat. Yeah. So let me close all the remaining PowerShells. Okay. Right. Yeah. So I'm logged in into both the machines. Okay. Right. So now before I get started, let me try to give this stuff again. Right. So that we are clear, we don't have any confusions whenever we are looking at our screenshots. Okay. So this is going to be your Red Hat instance, and this is going to be your Ubuntu. Yeah. Good. So let me save this image. Get into Linux. June. This would be our 8th. Okay. So for this series, we created for this series. Okay. We will be using a Ubuntu distro VM, Ubuntu VM, and a Red Hat VM. Okay. Ubuntu is connected from Git Bash. Okay. Which is terminal in black background. Okay. And Red Hat from PowerShell. Okay. So let me try to take the images of it, copy path. 64. Okay, good. Dot slash images slash Linux 64.png. Right. So I'm quite sure in the last class, what we have done is, okay, if you go into direct DevOps.blog, we were working on processes. Okay. So we have understood what fork and exec is. Okay. And then we have worked with certain process commands, right? Like top, htop, ps, psaux, psx, all of that stuff. Okay. Now what we would do is let us try to understand what is a Linux job. What is Linux job? Okay. So let me try to basically do the stuff. So Linux job. So if you want to understand Linux job, right? So what is this whole stuff coming into with respect to Linux jobs? Okay. So job is a very simple. Job is also a process. Okay. So a Linux job is a process which shell manages, right? So job is no different. Job is also a process. But okay, job, what happens is job is something, okay, which is running, which is running. Okay. So each job is assigned with a sequential job ID. Okay. So, but each job is a process at the end of the day, right? Each job is process. There is no difference. So, sorry, each job is a process, and it will also have PID. So, am I clear on this? Okay. So, jobs will have the following statuses. Will have following statuses, right? The first status is foreground job. The second one is background job. The third job is stop. Okay. So basically, right, whenever you basically enter a command, okay, and if it is running in the foreground, that is something that is considered to be a foreground. If it happens at the background, okay, that is called as a background job. When your job is finished, then we would basically call it as a what do you call, then we would basically call it as a stopped job. So let us look at commands. Okay. So we would have a command which is called as jobs. This command will list all the jobs. Okay. So bg, and then you would have some number over here. Okay. So places the current or a specified job in the background. Okay. And then we would have something called as fg percentage n, brings the current or specified job into the foreground. Okay. Here n is job id. Here n is job id. Okay. Right. And then we would be using control z. Control z will stop the foreground job and stops the foreground job. Okay. And places it in the background as stopped job. Background as stopped job. So shall we try to run some jobs in the background? Job is nothing but any Linux command. Okay. Run a job in the background. So let us see how do I run a job in the background. Okay. So to run in the job in the background, it is very simple. Okay. So you need to run. Okay. You need to enter, or let me write enter the command followed by an ampersand. Okay. So when you basically write any Linux command and if you follow it with ampersand, then that will basically become a background job. Now let us try to run some jobs in the background. Let me try to basically go over here. Okay. And then first let me run a very simple command where I will be trying to tell ping google.com ampersand. Okay. So if you see, basically there is something that is happening. Now let me click on, oh man. Okay. I'll do one thing. I messed it up. PS. Okay. Kill. 1 minute, guys. Yeah, I'll do one thing. Okay. I'll log in. That command has a lot of logs. But let me execute something called as jobs. Okay. So PS. PS-EAF. So is there anything ping that is running? 1622. So shall we kill that? Kill 16. Don't worry about kill at this moment. Okay. Let me try to do the simple command then. There is a command which is called as sleep. Sleep means it will not do anything. And I will give 1 day. So for 1 day, don't do anything. Don't do anything. Just sleep. And then I'll put it in the ampersand. Now let me click on jobs. So is there one job that is running? Similarly, sleep 1 day ampersand. If you put ampersand, it would run in the background. Okay. And then let me try to execute jobs. Am I clear on this? Now, basically, right? Whenever you want to do any command, bring it into the foreground. Okay. So what is that you can do? First, let me put a screenshot of this. Okay. So this is how you create a background job. This is how you create a background job. Okay. Any command with ampersand at the end will basically create a background job. Okay. So what is that we have done? We have basically said sleep 1D ampersand. And then I have executed jobs command. Okay. So jobs which you have run in the background, okay, can be brought foreground to bring, okay, jobs to foreground. What is the job number? What is the ID which you are seeing over here for this job? Is it 1? Is it 1, sir? Yes or no? FG percentage 1. Not this. Okay. And now over here, FG percentage 1. Now are you seeing this job is brought to the foreground? Okay. You are seeing your terminal is waiting for this job. Okay. So this is bringing jobs to the foreground. Okay. So this job will automatically finish after 1 day. But if you want to bring it to the foreground, then you can do this activity. Right. Now, okay. Now, to basically stop the jobs. To stop the jobs, what is the stuff which I need to execute? I need to execute Control Z. Yes or no? So I would execute Control Z. Okay. I'd go over here and then I'd execute Control Z. So are you seeing the job status is stopped? Okay. So if you see, I have executed Control Z and the job has turned to stop. Control Z over here, job has turned to stop. Okay. So in Linux, let's assume that you have run a shell program or anything which takes time and you don't want to wait for that command to be completed, then you can put it in the background. If you want to see what is happening in that job, you can obviously bring that job to the foreground. Am I clear on that, sir? Okay. So now, do we have this concept of job? Job is nothing but process. Right? So I can run multiple jobs also. Let me do this. What are the different? I think I want to run some different commands over here. Okay. So what we would see. Let me see if there is any X program. I want time-taking programs. That's the reason which I'm searching for it. Hmm. Let me find some command which you can place it in the background. Okay. So let me see if there is. No, we don't have this. What command should we run in the background? Hmm. Generally, you should have some program. Basically, in this, we don't have that. Hmm. Let me try to find out for some other example. Sleep is easiest example, right? So let me find some other thing. Is there anything else that is coming to your mind? Okay. Right. Shell scripting will not printing. It will happen in the background. Yeah, for loop also, right? But we have not gone to the for loop, right? That's the whole problem. I cannot run the shell script because we have not finished that yet, right? So uh, generally, you'll have a lot of UI programs, sir. If it is a desktop version, it is very easy for you to basically do that. Okay. Let me see. Sudo yum update is something interesting. Sudo yum update -y ampersand. Okay. Now, if you basically look into it, okay. So this is happening in the background. Okay. But the txt to that is, I think we can do this, sir. Okay. Let us wait for this command. Let me try this. Okay. So ping google.com ampersand. Okay. Test.txt. Still it is writing. Okay. Okay. PS. Okay. PS 1736. Okay. Kill 1736. Okay. So yeah, we are getting this command, but unfortunately, what is happening over here is, okay, this is obstructing because there is some output. Generally, these commands, background jobs, don't show you the output. They write it to the text. That's the whole point. Okay. When you write a Python code or when you write a Java code which runs in the background, right? So then we will not write this output to that command. So that's the reason why it is basically, right? So if you see, it is trying to tell you that jobs, this is the status of the jobs. And now let me look at the jobs over here. Okay. So right now ping google.com and then it is getting terminated. it has got terminated. Fine, whatever it is. All right. So in jobs, you will not run these commands. You would rather run some scripts which would do something like copying the folders from your local machine into some network folder. Right. Some of the activities which are long time or time taking or time consuming activities. So you would put them in the background by adding ampersand. Okay. So this ampersand is very critical. We'll generally not run the jobs in the foreground. We'll always run them in the background. Did we understood this concept of background? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Right. See, plus basically uh, the plus and minus symbol. Okay. I have not basically. You are right. Okay. Let me do one thing. Uh, okay. So I'll cross check, sir. Even I have not looked into that plus and minus stuff. I can find it out and tell it to you. Okay. So right now it is not in the in at the top of my head at this moment. Okay. A good question, but I don't have an answer at this moment, Manasa. Let me find it out and tell it to you. Yeah. Okay. Why a user would do 1 day after sleep? Sorry, I couldn't hear you, sir. I am running some junk job. That's where I have done sleep 1 day. Okay. Because I want any command that takes long time. That's it. That's the reason why I've done that. Okay. Right. Okay then. Now let us basically speak about signals. Let us basically speak about signals. Okay. What are that? Right. The kill command is used to kill process. So we can use a kill command to kill process. Okay. So basically, if you remember, while I was running that ping command, to stop that ping command, I have basically used kill, right? So basically what happens when you try to execute kill? Okay. So the kill command doesn't kill processes. Rather, it sends signals. Am I clear on this? Kill process will not kill the commands, but it would send the okay signals. Okay. So there are several types of signals in your operating systems, right? So let us try to look into it. Okay. Signals are okay one of several ways in OS. Okay. Okay. Or that OS communicates with the program. So if your operating system wants to communicate to the program, okay, there are many methodologies, and signals is one of them. And signals is one of them. Okay. Right. So let us try to understand some of the basic signals. Okay. So the first signal. Okay. Right. So we have executed control C. Okay. Right. So and you have also seen me executing control Z. Okay. So control C, what happens is it sends a signal. Control C sends a signal called as INT or interrupt. Okay. Control Z, it sends a signal. Okay. Sorry. Signal called as TSTP, terminal stop. Okay. So in operating systems, there are many signals. Okay. there are some commands which would basically send signals. So whenever you execute a kill, okay, so what will kill do? Kill will send a signal. Kill will send a signal. Okay, so let us try to basically look into it. Kill command syntax. Kill command syntax. Okay, so the kill command syntax is very simple. Okay, kill. Okay, you can give hyphen signal and then process ID. You can give multiple process IDs at one shot. Okay, so if no signal is specified, then the terminate signal is sent by default. So whenever you do kill, kill is not killing the processes. What is kill trying to do? Kill is trying to send the terminate signal. Okay, there are many signals in uh, Linux or in an operating system. We would not have time to discuss all of them, but I will definitely try to discuss some of the common signals. Right. So let's look at common signals in Linux. Okay, so every signal will have a number. Oh, so man, common signals. Okay, so I'm writing that number 1. This is a signal number. Okay, this stands for HUP. Okay, okay, HUP. Let me write HUP. Okay, HUP means hang up. Okay, this is very old days when people used to do this. Now no one tries to use that. Okay, but right, this signal is basically used by even in these days. Some of the Apache servers basically use this stuff. Okay, this signal is used to basically indicate that the terminal is hung up, so there is no response that is coming from the terminal, right? So we will not generally use it, but this is a could be asked kind of scenario. Okay, and over here, this signal, every signal has a number. Okay, hang up. The signal number is okay 1. Okay, and then int. Int stands for interrupt. Okay, so interrupt is this performs, as I said already, same function as control C. When you do control C, what happens? Sent from terminal. Okay, it usually terminates the program. Okay, and if you want to know the signal number is 2. Okay, right, and then kill. Okay, so basically there are this signal is kill signal will also be specified. Okay, this is the different or a special kind of a signal, right? So what will this signal do? It will kill. Okay, this signal is special actually. Okay, why it is special? Okay, so generally a program might choose many different signals in their own ways, right? So kill signal, why it is basically different is kill signal is never actually sent to your program. Okay, so whenever you send the kill, okay, till now all of the signals are basically sent to your program, but kill is a signal. Whenever a terminal sees that, it will immediately stop your process. Okay, so when you use kill, your program might not have an opportunity to clean up or save the work. Okay, so this is understand this stuff. Okay, very special, because this signal will not reach process. kernel will terminate the program. Kernel will terminate the program immediately. Okay. So no cleanup, nothing. So no cleanup opportunity given to your program. Okay. Whereas when you do interrupt, this command will reach your process. Okay. This command will basically reach your process. Okay. Now, when your command basically reaches your process, and then your command will try to kill itself. Okay. When your process is trying to kill itself, it will do the cleanup. So interrupt is actually a better way of rather than using kill. Okay. So kill signal is very dangerous. Kill is directly sent by it works at a kernel level. Okay. Right. So and then I have to speak about signal number, right? Okay. So the signal number is 9. Okay. I'm not writing all the stuff. I'm just writing the important stuff which is required, right? So and then the next signal is term. Okay. So term is terminate. This is default signal sent by kill command. Okay. See, kill command, kill signal, they are different. Okay. This is a signal. Okay. And basically the kill command can send many signals, right? By default, it sends terminate, but you can send kill signal also, right? Kill is crash the process. I don't want this to be running. Let us assume there is some virus program. You don't want it to clean up, right? You use a kill signal. Kill signal will what it will do? It will basically try to remove the process or stop the process from the operating system level, not by communicating with the process, right? What is that I have defined a signal as? Signal is okay. Signal is a way of communicating between your operating system to process. But if you use a signal called as kill, no communication is done. Immediately your process will be cleaned up. Am I clear on that, sir? Yeah. Okay. Right. So basically this is uh, default stuff. It will give time to terminate. So whenever you do kill, it will not immediately stop. Your program will receive this, right? So then it will do the cleanup and all of that stuff, right? So the signal number is 15. Okay. Right. And CONT. Sir, let me finish this. Don't obstruct me in between. What is this and what is that? Okay. First, let me finish this table and then I will try to answer your questions. Yeah. Okay. Continue. Okay. So what this can do is this will restore the process after stop, or if you remember, terminal stop signal. Okay. So this signal is generally sent by BG and FG commands. I'm quite sure we know what BG and FG commands are at this moment. Okay. So the signal number is 18. Okay. So this command will basically continue your process. Okay. And then there is a signal which is called as stop. Okay. Obviously stop. So in operating system, there will be many ways, sir. So why we have these many ways? Because operating system has to handle many different things. So this signal causes a process to pause without terminating. Okay. All right. Am I clear on this? So here you are not killing the process. Your process will be paused. Okay. And then signal number is 19. Sorry. And then TSTP, we have already discussed about it. Control Z. Okay. terminal stop. I'm not writing it further. Okay, this is basically used by your stuff. Okay, now let us assume, okay, I am running this program. Okay, so sleep 1d ampersand. Now what is the job which what is the job ID now which I got? Okay, I can say kill, okay, -1, kill -1, and then 3. Oh, not 3. So I basically need to know the process ID. So let me know PS. Okay. Hopefully this is what it is. Okay. So kill -1. Okay. And then I'm using this process ID. Okay. Now let me use PS. So what is happening? Okay. So in this, what we have tried to tell is, okay, we have started sleep program in the background, and then we asked it to hang up. Okay, then basically what happens is this program will terminate, and shell will notify to the background process that this has received a hang up signal. Okay, so that's it. You would basically see your application. Okay, similarly, if you want to kill the other programs, right? So now I'll not do all in here. I'll do some of them here and some of them here. So let me execute sleep 1D. I'm just using because I want some background job. Okay. First, let me use PS hyphen EF, or let me use PS. Okay. So right now sleep 1D ampersand. Okay. Now PS. Okay. 1713 was already existing. Now it is 1759. Now I would try to tell kill. Okay. Hyphen. Okay. Right. And then I am trying to tell INT. What is INT? Interrupt. Okay, and then I would give 1759. Now you try to use jobs. Are you seeing the status? Yeah. Let me do one by one then. I'll try to execute jobs. Okay, I've given this jobs. Okay. So when you are killing your program, you can use any signal, but generally this is something which your developers would end up doing. We might not basically worry about it too much, but it is good to know that there are signals in Linux. Okay, so for the person who is developing the Linux stuff, right? So for him it would be decent stuff. Okay, let me execute jobs. Okay, right. So let me try to give the screenshot of this. Save this. So let me use this screenshot of 68 and 69. Okay, samples. Okay, so kill with signals. Okay, samples 68 and 69. Okay, right. So generally, okay, whenever you want to get the stuff, okay, always remember that, okay, there are certain signals which you can pass to your stuff, right? So you can send the signals to multiple processes also at one shot. Okay. But the whole idea is, okay, so whenever you are sending signals, you should understand the behavior of signals, right? So in Linux, now can I basically send a signal to a killing process? Yeah. Can I send a signal to a killing process? By default, you will never do that. By default, you will never do that. Okay. Right. By default, you will never do that. Right. But the whole idea is, if you want to kill any process, you can specify a signal. By default, will not worry. We will just basically execute kill, and most of the time terminate will work. If the terminate is not working, then I might specify a signal called as kill, because kill will definitely work. Kill will specify definitely work. Oh, TSTP, I have not written the signal number, is that? Okay. Signal number is 20. Am I clear on this? Okay. Right. So generally, right, whenever we work with bash, there is one interesting command over here, which is called as no hup hyphen hyphen version. Okay. So the no hup means don't hang up, no hang up. Okay. So in bash we would have no hup, right? The meaning of no hup is, okay, no hang up. Okay. Right. So generally, why we need to do this? So generally, what happens is when we log out of of our system, right? All of the uh, running programs will be hang up, right? And then they get terminated. Okay. So if you want any program to run even after you log out, right, or exit from your operating system, then you have to use the no hub command, right? So normally when we log out from system, okay, then all the running programs or running processes, I'll not say all the running, it's okay, programs or process are hang up or terminated. If you want to run any program, okay, after logout or even after exit from Linux operating system, then you have to use this no hub command. Okay. So generally, I have spoken about background jobs and all that stuff, right? So we can run background jobs with no hub command. Okay. So you can run and no hub command will basically help you out in running your what do you call background jobs. So for example, okay, I can run something like no hub, okay, hyphen hyphen version. So or no hub, sorry, hyphen hyphen help. Okay. So in no hub hyphen hyphen help, I can basically give some of the commands. I can give some of the scripts, right? So whenever you want to write the shell script going forward down the line, you can basically run it. So let me run a very simple command. No hub bash hyphen c. Okay. In the bash prompt, run this command. Okay. And you basically try to tell that, okay, over here, make dir, okay, test dir. and okay, touch testdir colon 1 to 10,000 dot txt and send this output to output dot txt. Okay. Now cat output dot txt. Oh, it is still working. Yeah. So let me get into testdir. Let me get into ls. Oh, this command has failed. Let me do one thing. Oh, what was my command? Let me make it, let me not make it this much complicated also. Let me try to do this. Let me do make dir test dir 1 and just simply do ls. Okay. Right. And cat output.txt. So are you getting output.txt and test dir 1? Okay. So let me get into test dir 1. Okay. So nothing is basically created over here. Now you can start any command and you can run multiple commands in that. That's when I use ampersand, that was my basic stuff over here. Okay. So now what I can basically do is, remember we were running ping. Okay. So I can basically tell that no HUP. Okay. Ping. Okay. And then I would try to tell that, okay, hyphen C. Okay. 1,000 packets to google.com ampersand. Okay. So this command will basically run and it is trying to tell that ignoring input and appending output to something called as nohop.txt. All right. Now, if you want to basically kill these jobs, you can find out the process and then kill it. Okay. But the whole idea is this command will run even if you exit out of this system, right? Even after you log out, because nohop is a command that would make your stuffs work irrespective of you available in that system or not available in that system. Generally, when we run through cron jobs, this becomes important. This becomes important. Okay. Am I clear on this, guys? Okay. What is the help command to know all the signals? You have to Google it, sir. There is no help command where all the signals are specified. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, let me go to the last topic of the day, which is very simple. Okay. We all do this all the time, right? Which is shutting down the system. Okay. So for this, we have 4 commands. Okay. The first command is halt. The second command is power off. The third command is reboot. And the fourth command is shutdown. Okay. So we have 4 commands which can basically help you with this, with respect to this. Okay. Now I am not going to tell you what are the different stuffs which you want to do it. You find it out. Okay. What will halt do? What will power off do? What will reboot do? And what will shut down do? You try to find it out. Will you guys do that? Okay. So if you really want to basically understand some of the other popular process commands, right? Other useful process commands. Okay. I am not describing this stuff. So there is command called as pstree. There is command called as vmstat. Right. There is command called as xload. Okay. And there is command called as tload. Okay. So now I can go into the system. Okay. Let me go into this system and then execute this tload. or there is some information which it is trying to give. Okay. So it will try to tell load over your system. Okay. Similarly, there is a command which is called as PS tree. Okay. So PS tree will try to describe your process in the tree structure. It will try to tell what are the processes that have started, what are the processes that have started, okay, and what is their order, right? What is the tree which is basically mentioned over here, and then VM stat. So VM stat will try to give you the stuff. Xload might work only in the graphical interfaces. You might not have Xload over here. Xload is used whenever you are trying to use it in a Linux machine where you have UI around it, Am I clear on this, sir? Okay. So your organization might use anything that they might find it friendly. Okay. But do we understand jobs now? Okay. So do we understand that there is a concept called as signals? There is a concept called as signals. Okay. So and basically whenever we try to kill any process, then that signals come into play. By default, it will send a terminate signal. This is what you need to know. This is what you need to know. Okay. Fine, sir. I'll stop it at that.
Thanks for watching. For more videos, subscribe our channel and click on bell icon.